Hey, so happy spring. I wanted to show you my garden because I have such a variety of strategically placed plants in a forest. That's where we live. So it's really difficult to actually get a lot of things to grow depending on how much sunlight shows up through the trees. So behind our house, it's all woods, but out front we've got about 4 or 5 hours of daylight, sun, and sometimes up to about 6, depending on exactly where you place everything. So this year my strawberries are looking really good. They've been battling many different animals throughout the years, and this year we finally just stuck this piping in place with some bird netting over the top, and it's awesome. Already I can tell it's kept out deer, rabbits, squirrels. The deer especially would by now have eaten these all the way down to just like an inch from the top. But I'm so excited this time around because we're actually going to get a good load of strawberries, and then eventually this will fill in. So these have been here 2 years maybe. There might be some leftovers from a couple years before that, but a lot of them died out as squirrels dug underneath the roots and deer ate the tops off, rabbits, everything, you name it. Even with all the other things I tried, I could not get them to stop coming into this little spot. But this seems to be the best deterrent, honestly. Over here's my herb garden. So I have one non-herb that's from the Welcoming People. They only moved in like 7 years ago. It was pretty nice. This little daisy bush. It was really tiny. I think they're daisies. We have rosemary, which is probably 3 or 4 years old. And some lemon balm, probably going on year 3. It's kind of spread out here in different places. Oops, that's not it, but here, here, and here. And then this here is catmint. And then this is catnip. I don't know if it's, I think they are different. They do smell slightly different and they taste different. And the leaves, look at the difference. So they're different species. And this is a mint. One is, I think this is my spearmint. And over here, oh, this is peppermint. So I wanted to plant different kinds so you could put them in different drinks and make different things. I have some lemon thyme that's kind of having a struggle. It partially died out. But then this other thyme that I had from a previous year kind of still is in place. It's doing really well along the edges of the herb garden here. My sage died this year. It was around for like 3 years. I don't know why. It must have, and it wasn't that cold of winter, so I guess maybe they just die out after 3 years. I don't know the answer to that. So I have 2 different oreganos. This is a newer one that was planted, and let's see, this is Italian oregano. This one is a form of oregano, and I don't know if it's Greek maybe? I forgot. I lost the tag. But they're really nice, and so pretty. And we have here some chives, bloody sorrel, which you can use in salads. And this looks really good. So far the deer haven't come over here to eat it. I'm surprised. Blueberry bush, which got stepped on, balls thrown on it, kids, branches have fallen on it, but it's still alive. It looks like this is the first year that it's actually coming back with sprouts, and it's going to try to hopefully live. This is chamomile, year 2. So that's the herb garden. Now on to the stuff that I plant and change out every year. This year we have some prickly pear cactus seeds in here. That's an experiment. This is mint, and I can't remember if this is just like basic mint. I think it's different than the other 2. Then I have this other really pretty bush that my friend gave me, and actually it's looking really pretty. I thought it died, but I'll have to plant that sometime. In here we have one pumpkin seed, because these things, they're gonna grow all the way across here and into the sidewalk. Over here, Tammy G tomatoes from Florida. I got the seeds down there. I was eating them, and then I brought them up and then placed them 2 years ago into one of my pots. And then I was able to keep the seeds and just keep, you know, regenerating them every year. Same thing. Oh no, this one's different this year. I call them little yellow tomatoes. I don't know what the species is because they're from a friend. I could ask her. Though I think they're starting to come up. Where is it? Right there. And then over here, I think, I don't know if these are coming up yet. I don't see anything. It's only been about a week. It's now like April 20th. Tax day for me to do some taxes today. Snap peas. I have this cool thing here for them to grow, and I have these little snap peas coming up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We'll see how it goes. I might have to pinch off 1 or 2 of them. Then we've got a jalapeno plant coming, a couple of them on this side. It's from some seeds. A lot of stuff is an experiment from seeds from last year. And that's kind of how I go and learn. I don't know what these are really called, but I call them sweet vine cherries. They actually grow on a vine. Again, from my friend. I got a lot of stuff from my friend last year, so I've decided to plant a lot of it to see what would happen. And I also planted, I don't know what these are called, but they're these little circular watermelon cucumber things. They grow on a vine. They taste like a cucumber and a watermelon, kind of. Well, more so like a cucumber. The outside looks like, they're about this big around, and the outside actually looks like a little mini watermelon. So I had a nickname called the Pop'ems. That's what I was calling them last year. And then my husband has he calls it his absinthe garden of wormwood, sweet fennel, angelica, and then he had some other seedlings here last year. But my son, he's 7, I said, go pick out some flowers. And so he picked out these little cute flowers, and you can see them right there. Let him get into gardening. And this is our fourth year of these green onions that we threw out into the compost pile. And I planted them because they were starting to regrow in the compost, and then they just have survived every winter here in Virginia. And this is full of carrot seeds. Well, we did that last year. I probably should rotate them, but I figured 1 more year, put some carrots in there, see what happens. And another little blueberry plant that got smashed by Power Wheels and kids, and it's coming back. These are just some pretty looking flowers. We have the hyacinth and this aster, which is a beautiful lavender color. No, that's the lavender. I think this is witches something, but they look like little lavender flowers. This is purple mum type perennials that'll come up in the fall. I think this is lavender. This is given to me by a friend. It smells like it to me. I don't know what species. If the flowers are kind of like lavender looking, then maybe it's lavender. It looks like lavender. Here is a white grape plant. The exact species now. I've lost the tag. This one is, oh my gosh, how many years is it? 4 or 5 years now. And we've had to trim it back. It's gotten kind of hit by, again, kids and things like that. And then every year I have to deal with the Japanese beetles eating it. So that's always been a challenge. We're starting to get grapes from it. So that's good news. And we've pruned off a lot of stuff, so it'll be interesting to see what happens. We have over here the hops. This thing is so, like, I guess, overpowered this pot that it grew straight down into the ground. There's so many little sprouts coming up. I have to keep picking them and pruning this down because I don't need that much. We don't want that many growing. But it's a rhizome plant, so the rhizome, you get the little rhizome in the mail and then pop it in, and then it just, I got it for a Father's Day present for my husband, and then the first year we had some hops already on it. So this is the Cascade hops plant, and usually they end up producing hop flower cones in August, so that's fun stuff. Let's go over to my raspberry plant. Right here we have a red raspberry plant, and this is year 3. We planted it inside of this white pine stump that had like a big hollow spot in it. Just after we cut down the tree a year before that, we planted this in there, and it's taking off, and we just eat the raspberries around August or so is when they start to show up. And then this year we just noticed it produced some new canes. There's one. Here's another one that I almost ran over with the lawnmower. Maybe I did. Maybe that was there last year. It looks like it might be coming back up. Some wild strawberries, bonus. Oh yeah, there's one with some flowers. Probably shouldn't run these over with the lawnmower. I planted some back over in the strawberry bed, just because. Then we have another one that I was trying to protect. So we're just gonna call this Raspberry Hill. Then in the mail yesterday, I received a yellow raspberry plant, and I put leaves around it temporarily because I didn't have mulch. It's got a little bit of sand mixture in there since I found out they like sand, and I chopped off part of the top when it came because it was just a root. Hopefully it'll start to shoot up some stuff in like 3 weeks. So that is Raspberry Hill. Then over here we have Blackberry and Blueberry Hill. So we have 4 different blueberry bushes here. This one, I actually think, well, I'm not 100% sure because it didn't come with the name tag, but I'm pretty sure it is the Climax Blueberry. But I don't know. They kind of look, maybe they look different. It's hard for me to tell. But this is the Climax. It's got plenty of little flowers. You can see here. Let me get them. Focus. There we go. And we're gonna have to cage this with some bird netting because the birds are gonna be all over it once those blueberries start to come through. And then this is a Duke. We lost a little bit on this side and this side and this side due to disease. I don't know what it was, but we just chopped it off, and then I sprayed some stuff on it. So we'll see what happens. New shoots. Might have to get that chopped off there. And then over here is the non-flowering one. I don't know why it doesn't flower. This is the second year it's not flowered. So maybe it needs a buddy to produce. I'm not sure. That's why I'm just gardening, because I'm learning about what needs what and trying to figure it all out. But I like stuff that's edible. So over here I have a goji berry plant. It's looking the best it's ever looked since we planted it 2 years ago. Oops, why is this thing not focusing? There we go. But see, yeah, it's actually starting to get some nice shoots. We've trimmed out a lot of the dead sticks, which we probably should have done last year. But hey, you gotta learn, right? This one is Concord grapes. They're looking really good. And then some wild blackberries from out back in the woods. I just planted these. I put 2 together because I didn't know if this was gonna make it. It might. It looks like it's okay. But this one's already in. I planted it like about a week ago. And you can see, let's see if this will focus. It's already getting new shoots from being out in the sun instead of in the woods hiding under the trees. So we're out here in the sun, and it seems to like that. This one I planted, another blackberry. It was at the nursery on a dead blueberry plant. And so that's why, oh my gosh, let's see, he fell off. Let's see if I can put him up here like that. Hi. Morning. So I put him in here on the dead blueberry and he looks like he's happy. He's got new sprouts. And then here's another blackberry from last year that I found out back. And he's looking really good. So I think that's, oh, one more. Over here is the asparagus. Newly planted asparagus, 2-year crowns. They're in here. They have plenty of space to grow. There's some holes in the bottom, so everything pretty much in my container gardens looks good. I'm hoping they'll come up here. So I followed all the instructions and we'll see what happens. So we'll catch you in maybe a couple weeks or a month. Bye-bye.